Your hand is already moving before your brain has finished thinking. You see a dog across the street, and something ancient fires inside you. Not a thought, not a decision, a command. Touch it, and you do. Before you've even processed what's happening, you're crouched on the pavement, making sounds you would never make in a meeting room, whispering things to a stranger's golden retriever, like it's the most important conversation you've had all week. And here is the part nobody talks about. You had no real choice in that moment. This isn't a personality quirk. It isn't something dog people do or cat people do or people who grew up on farms do. This is one of the most universal, cross-cultural, neurologically consistent behaviors in the entire human species. We see soft, warm animals and our hands go toward them. Every culture, every continent, every era of recorded history. And the reason why is far stranger and far more interesting than anyone has told you. Stay with me. Here's what most people assume. We want to pet animals because they're cute. Simple answer. Clean logic. Move on. Wrong. Cuteness is not a feeling. It is a neurological event. And understanding what it actually does to your brain changes everything about why your hand moved before you told it to. In 1943, an Austrian scientist named Konrad Lorenz identified something he called Kindchen schema, baby schema. His observation was radical for its time. Certain physical features, round face, large eyes, small nose, soft features, clumsy movements, evolved in human infants specifically to hijack adult brains. Not to be charming, not to be appealing, to hijack. Evolution needed infants to survive, so it built a visual trigger directly into the adult human nervous system that fires caregiving instincts on sight. Your brain sees those features, and it doesn't ask questions. It doesn't check species. It doesn't verify whether the creature in front of you is actually your offspring. It fires. And suddenly you are experiencing a protective instinct toward a stranger's corgi that you met 11 seconds ago outside a coffee shop. Lorenz proposed all of this in the 1940s with almost no brain imaging technology. He was just watching people react to things and taking careful notes. Decades later, when researchers put people inside fMRI machines and showed them photographs of baby animals, his theory turned out to be essentially correct. The brain lights up in specific identifiable regions, areas linked to reward, structures associated with emotional salience, circuits connected to motivation and approach behavior. Looking at a cute animal is not passive. It is a measurable neurological event. Your brain is actively doing something. It is responding the way it responds to things that genuinely matter, things worth paying attention to, things worth protecting. And here's the crucial part. All of this happens before you have touched anything, because touching is a completely different layer, and it is where things get genuinely strange. The human sense of touch is not one sense. It is a collection of different sensory systems running simultaneously under your skin. Your skin is covered in different types of mechanoreceptors, specialized cells that respond to different kinds of physical contact, pressure, vibration, texture, temperature, and there is one specific type discovered and studied more deeply in recent decades called C-tactile afferents. These nerve fibers are almost perfectly tuned to one specific kind of touch, not firm pressure, not fast movement, not sharp sensation, slow, gentle, soft stroking at approximately 1 to 10 centimeters per second. When these fibers activate, they do not just send signals to the part of your brain that tracks where and how you are being touched. They send signals to areas associated with emotion, social bonding, reward. These fibers exist specifically to make gentle touch feel emotionally meaningful, not just physically registered. Meaningful. Now here is the part that connects everything. Running your hand slowly over soft fur activates C-tactile afferents almost perfectly. The texture, the warmth, the gentle, consistent resistance. It is as if fur was specifically designed to interface with this exact sensory system. Pet a dog, and you are triggering a neurological pathway that evolved for social bonding between humans and is now firing because of a Labrador. This is not a metaphor. This is chemistry. Specifically, oxytocin. Oxytocin is released during positive physical touch, when you hug someone you care about, when you hold a newborn, When you engage in physical affection of any kind, multiple well-designed studies have shown that just a few minutes of petting a dog significantly elevates oxytocin levels in humans, measurable spikes in a bonding hormone from a few minutes of contact with an animal. And here is the part that is almost unfairly wholesome. The oxytocin spikes in the dog too. Simultaneously, you are both human and dog experiencing the same neurochemical response that bonds parents to children, that bonds partners to each other, that underlies some of the deepest social connections human beings form. You walked up to a stranger's dog, and you both accidentally fell a little in love. And that is not sentimentality. That is biology working exactly as intended. But there is another angle here that most people never consider. Why soft things specifically? Why fur and not gravel? Why do we reach for warmth and not concrete? Part of the answer lies in what your nervous system learned before you had language. Humans as infants spend an enormous portion of early existence in close contact with warm, soft things: skin, fabric, other bodies. The association between softness and safety is established before conscious memory exists. It gets coded into your nervous system as a baseline truth. Soft things equal safety. Soft things equal closeness. Soft things equal I am not alone. This association persists throughout your entire life in ways your conscious mind almost never notices. There is also the temperature element, which is criminally underrated. Fur is warm, and warm things communicate at a very deep neurological level that something is alive. When you place your hand on something warm and slightly yielding, there is an almost immediate, measurable reduction in physiological stress markers. Heart rate slows, skin conductance drops, cortisol begins to decrease. Your autonomic nervous system is recognizing the warmth as the presence of another living body, and it is responding by down-regulating your threat response. You are relaxing, not because you decided to relax, because your body recognized warmth and concluded something alive is here. We are safe. Now here's the part that is genuinely the most interesting. It is not just that petting animals feels good. Lots of things feel good. We manage to restrain ourselves around most of them in public. The strange thing about animals is that the urge feels almost impossible to override. You know you should ask before petting the dog. You know the cat has already given you 2 clear warnings. You do it anyway. What is actually happening there? When your brain identifies something as potentially rewarding, and soft, warm animals are firing essentially every reward signal your brain is equipped to generate, it creates a motivational pull toward that thing that precedes conscious decision-making. You are not thinking, I want to pet that dog. The motivational circuitry has already moved your hand. The conscious layer is catching up to something your body already started. You are, in the most literal sense, drawn to it before the thought forms. And then there is something researchers have started calling cute aggression, which sounds alarming and is actually one of the most fascinating things in this entire story. It is the experience of seeing something so overwhelmingly cute that you feel a strange, intense, almost aggressive urge in response, wanting to squeeze it, saying things like, I could eat you up, making little mock-threatening gestures toward adorable things you have zero intention of harming. If you have ever looked at a puppy and felt an inexplicable urge to aggressively scrunch its face, that is cute aggression. Researchers at Yale studied this seriously and found it is not random. When something produces an overwhelming level of positive emotion, more than the system is easily handling, the brain generates a countervailing negative impulse as a balancing mechanism. Your nervous system is literally trying to cope with the volume of positive response it is receiving. Your brain is overwhelmed by how cute something is, and it is not handling it gracefully, which means the slightly unhinged things you want to do to kittens are a sign that your brain is working correctly. Now here is the piece that changes the entire frame of this conversation. Dogs did not get domesticated passively. The relationship between humans and dogs is the product of an estimated 15,000 to 40,000 years of genuine mutual adaptation. We have been living together, working together, sleeping near each other, and touching each other for so long that we have measurably biologically changed each other. Dogs are uniquely sensitive to human social cues in ways their closest wild relatives, wolves, simply are not. Even wolves raised by humans from birth cannot do what dogs do. Dogs follow human-pointing gestures spontaneously. Dogs track human eye gaze. Dogs make eye contact with humans in a way that is neurologically distinct from how wolves make eye contact. And here is the detail that is almost too good to be true. Dogs have developed a specific facial muscle called the levator anguli oculi medialis that is either entirely absent or dramatically underdeveloped in wolves. This muscle is responsible for the inner brow raise, the puppy eyes expression, that look a dog gives you, where its eyebrows furrow slightly and its eyes go wide and something in your chest completely dissolves. Dogs evolved an anatomical structure specifically for producing that expression. It is not accidental. It is the result of thousands of years of selection pressure favoring dogs that were better at triggering positive emotional responses in humans. Dogs that were better at getting humans to touch them, feed them, keep them close. The puppy eyes are not cute by coincidence. They are the result of an incredibly long process of figuring out exactly what makes human hands reach out. We did not domesticate dogs. We domesticated each other. And every time you reach out to pet one, you are responding to tens of thousands of years of very deliberate social engineering from the other side. Now here is what this all points toward, and I think this is the most important part. Touch is how mammals communicate safety to each other. It is one of the primary mechanisms by which we regulate each other's nervous systems. It is how we say without language, I see you, I am here, you are not alone, everything is okay. For the vast majority of human history, we lived in constant close physical proximity to animals, working animals, animals we raised, animals that slept near us for warmth and protection and company. The separation between humans and animals that we now consider normal is extremely recent in evolutionary terms, and our brains, our nervous systems, our reward circuitry, none of it has caught up. All of it is still expecting to be near warm, soft living things on a regular basis. 10 to 15 minutes of physically touching an animal produces statistically significant changes in cortisol and oxytocin levels. Your nervous system is not slow about this. It knows what it needs, and it responds the moment it gets it. We treat the impulse to pet animals like it is a funny quirk, an endearing human flaw, the thing that makes you 10 minutes late because you got ambushed by a dog on the sidewalk. But what it is actually pointing to is something much older and much more serious. You were never going to not pet the dog. Your hand was always going to move because somewhere deep in your nervous system, beneath language, beneath conscious thought, beneath everything you think of as you, there is something ancient that knows exactly what it needs, and it reaches for it every single time. That is exactly what we're covering next week. What else your nervous system is doing without telling you. If you want to know, you know what to do.